जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन। यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन। यमुनतीरावनचारी। यमुनतीरावनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। भवताम् अपि भूयान् मे यदि श्रद्धते वचः वैशारदी धी श्रद्धातः स्त्री बालानां च मे यथा भवतामपि भूयान्मे यदि श्रद्धते वचः वैशारदी धी श्रद्धातः स्त्री बालानां च मे यथा भवतामपि भूयान्मे यदि श्रद्धते वचः वैशारदी धी श्रद्धाता स्त्री बालानां च मे यथा भवतामपि भूयान्मे यदि श्रद्धते वचः वैशारदी धी श्रद्धाता स्त्री बालानां च मे यथा
भवतानामपि भूयान्मे यदि श्रद्धते tate vachaha. Vaisharadidi sraddhata. Kribalanam cha me yatha.
Bhavatam, of yourselves. Api, also. Bhuyat, may it be. May. Oh, sorry, it may be. May, of me. Yadi, if. Shraddhate, you believe in. Vachaha, the words. Vaisharadi, of the most expert, or in relation with the Supreme Lord. Dhi, intelligence. Shraddhataha, because of firm faith. Stri, of women. Balanam, of small boys. Cha, also. Me, of me. Yatha, just as. Translation and commentary by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Prahlad Maharaj continued, my dear friends, if you can place your faith in my words, simply by that faith you can also understand transcendental knowledge, just like me, although you are small children. Similarly, a woman can also understand transcendental knowledge and know what is spirit and what is matter. Purport. These words of Prahlad Maharaj are very important in regard to knowledge descending by the disciplic succession. Even when Prahlad Maharaj was a baby within the womb of his mother, he became fully convinced of the existence of the Supreme Power because of hearing the powerful instructions of Narada and understood how to attain perfection in life by Bhakti Yoga. These are the most important understandings in spiritual knowledge. Yasya deve para bhaktir yatha deve tatha guru tasyaite katita hyartha prakashante mahatmanaha. Unto those great souls who have implicit faith in both the Lord and the spiritual master, all the imports of Vedic knowledge are automatically revealed. Shvetashvatar Upanishad 6.23. Atashri Kṛṣṇa namadi na bhaved grahyam indriyai sevan mukhe hi jivhado svayameva spuratyadaha. No one can understand Krishna as he is by the blunt material senses, but he reveals himself to the devotees, being pleased with them for their transcendental loving service unto him. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1-2. Oh, that's nice. 1-2-2-3-4. Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tattvataha tato mam tattvato gyatva vishate tadanantaram. One can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead as He is only by devotional service, and when one is in full consciousness of the Supreme Lord by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. These are Vedic instructions. One must have full faith in the words of the spiritual master and similar faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then the real knowledge of Atma and Paramatma and the distinction between matter and spirit will be automatically revealed. This Atma Tattva, or spiritual knowledge, will be revealed within the core of a devotee's heart because of his having taken shelter of the lotus feet of a Mahajan, such as Prahlad Maharaj. In this verse, the word Bhuyat may be understood to mean let there be. Prahlad Maharaj offers his blessings to his class friends, saying, also become faithful like me, become bona fide Vaishnavas. A devotee of the Lord desires for everyone to take to Krishna consciousness. Unfortunately, however, people sometimes do not have staunch faith in the words of the spiritual master, who comes by the disciplic succession, and therefore they are unable to understand transcendental knowledge. The spiritual master must be in the line of authorized disciplic succession, like Prahlad Maharaj, who received the knowledge from Narada. If the class friends of Prahlad Maharaj, the sons of demons, were to accept the truth through Prahlad, they would certainly also become fully aware of transcendental knowledge. The words Vaisharadidhi refer to intelligence concerning the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is extremely expert. The Lord has created wonderful universes by His expert knowledge. Unless one is extremely expert, he cannot understand the expert management of the Supreme Expert. One can understand, however, if one is fortunate enough to meet a bona fide spiritual master coming in the disciplic succession from Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Mother Lakshmi, or the Kumaras. These four sampradayas, or disciplic successions of knowledge and transcendence, are called the Brahma Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya, Shri Sampradaya, and Kumara Sampradaya. Sampradaya vihinaye mantraste nishpalamataha. The knowledge of the Supreme received from such a sampradaya or disciplic succession can give one enlightenment. If one does not take to the path of disciplic succession, it is not possible for one to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If one understands the Supreme Lord through devotional service with faith in the disciplic succession, and then advances further, he awakens his natural love for God, and then his success in life is assured. Om ajnanatimirandasya jnananjana shalakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. One small thing to lighten the mood. Yeah, that's fine. Good, lighten the mood. We want to lighten the mood. I don't know, I think probably everybody is aware, but this outfit for the deities we got on the 50th anniversary of Radha Giridhari's installation. And all those, it's completely, all sequined out. And all of those sequins are actually put on by hand. It's a completely handmade outfit. And just the devotee who made it is a Pujari in Juhu. And they said that they took 450 hours just to make Radharani's skirt. This skirt, yeah. And the Juhu temple liked it so much that they commissioned him to make the same outfit for Radha Rasbihari. So we can thank Giridhari Priya for this outfit. It was also quite expensive. So anyway, something nice. So yeah, this verse is addressing something which Srila Prabhupada something which is practically like the heartbeat of Srila Prabhupada's books. And the real distinguishing aspect of Srila Prabhupada's coming to the US and presenting Krishna consciousness. At the time Srila Prabhupada came, there were many, as we all know, there were many gurus and babas and yogis and many different. Yeah, several incarnations. Krishna came several times. Krishna came several times to America, actually, in the late 60s, mid to late 60s. So, but the distinguishing factor, and one that Srila Prabhupada really laid a lot of emphasis on, was that what Srila Prabhupada was teaching was something authorized. That what Srila Prabhupada was teaching was not his own concoction. It wasn't his own ideas, it wasn't his own philosophy. And although conventionally Srila Prabhupada would say, my books, I'm writing my books, Srila Prabhupada would also say that, well, one thing is he would say, Krishna's actually writing these books, I'm just writing them down. But Srila Prabhupada always emphasized that these aren't my words, so to speak. He would say, I'm not saying Krishna's saying. It's a common thing Srila Prabhupada would say, especially when he would kind of lay into somebody. He'd say, I'm not saying Krishna's saying. Krishna's saying you're a fool and a rascal. So this faith in the spiritual master is such an essential part of Krishna consciousness. And when you say such an essential part, it's kind of like an understatement, actually, because it's the essential factor. Srila Prabhupada said that faith in the instructions of the spiritual master, or following the instructions of the spiritual master, is the active principle in spiritual life. The active principle meaning that is what is carrying us. As Ashram Maharaj often says in his classes, we're made of mercy. So the principle here is that, like Srila Prabhupada quotes in this purport, Ata Shri Krishna Namadi Nabhaved Grahyam Indriyai. Nabhaved Grahyam Indriyai. Krishna, Ata Shri Krishna Namadi Nabhaved Grahyam Indriyai means that Krishna can't be obtained. Grahyam. Grahyam literally means like to grasp. Nabhaved Grahyam Indriyai. Indriyai means the senses. Krishna can't be grasped by the material senses. It's not possible. It's just, that's how it is. It's not possible. You have something spiritual, and it can't at all be perceived by material senses. Of course, Krishna came and because Krishna has, full control over his Shaktis and like that, non-devotees also saw him, so to speak, when he was here on this planet. So Krishna being spirit, he can of course affect matter, and he can generate sound and touch and smell and things like this. But to really perceive spirit is actually not through the eyes or through the nose or through the ears or this and that. Shrute Kshitapato. Shrute Kshitapato means that Krishna is seen through the ears. That devotees see Krishna through their ears. And this is so by hearing from the spiritual master. And by hearing from the spiritual master, one can understand, like Srila Prabhupada is saying, Atma Tattva. One can understand the truth about one's self and one's relationship with Krishna. And this is so. This actually comes up in I want to say Shvetashvatara Upanishad, but I'm forgetting now. But a very famous sutra, I think, or maybe from Mundaka Upanishad. But it says, Acharyavan Purusho Veda. Acharyavan. So Acharya, everybody knows what Acharya means. And Van, when you add Van to a word in Sanskrit, it means like composed of. So like if I say, like a common word also in Sanskrit and other languages too is Punyavan. Punyavan is like Punyavan means pious. Punya means piety, and Van means one who, like possessive kind of indicates. So Acharyavan Purusha. Purusha means person. Veda. Acharyavan Purusho Veda. One who has an acharya knows. And the implication is that one who has an acharya really knows. And only one who has an acharya really knows. And the explanation is given in the commentaries that just like if somebody was dropped off in some far off land, in the commentaries it says the land of the Gandharas, which I assume is some Vedic kind of, some race. If one is dropped off in some far-off land, and one has no idea where they are, if somebody's blindfolded and just dropped off in some far-off land, then you really have no way to get out. You have no way to really understand where you are. I mean, you can look around and you can say, okay, there's this landmark, there's that landmark, and you can, but to walk around the entire place and understand which direction you're supposed to go in and this and that, practically speaking, it's impossible. I mean, you can spend a whole life trying to get out of some very far-off land, because you go in one direction some 100 miles, and you realize, okay, it's the wrong direction. Then you go in another direction some 100 miles, and you realize, okay, that's also the wrong direction. So it's really a useless endeavor. So, but if somebody comes along and says, yes, I'm very familiar with the land of the Gandharas, and in fact, I'm a cartographer, and I've made this map. And here's a map so that you can understand exactly where the land of the Gandharas is in relation to, your homeland. Then one's got a pretty good chance. And especially if that person says, come with me, I'll take you. I know exactly where I'm going, I know all the roads, I'll take you with me. Then one has a pretty good chance of getting out, of finding their way back home. But it rests upon two things. It rests upon, one, that person has to know what they're doing. If that person doesn't know what they're doing, then you'll just become more lost. And we see that this is really the situation that you have. And my spiritual master was saying that he was when he first began preaching in South India, he would in a particular place in South India, he would give these talks in kind of it was a hall, but then above it there was like another hall, and below there was another hall. So he said, I was giving these talks, and there would be this Amma on top, on the above, and then there would be this Baba below, and this, Mama, and there's one famous, the joke is that there's one famous person in this South Indian, so-called guru named Amma, and Amma means mother. So he was saying, there's all these Babas and this and that, fake, gurus, so-called gurus, and yogis that were speaking in that place. And so the situation is really the same kind of everywhere, that there's so many gurus, and not just gurus who are saying, okay, I can take you to God and I can do this and that, or I'm a yogi or this and that, but even just others who are saying that I have the truth, that I have, I've got this philosophy, or I've got this and that. Maybe it even has no reference to the Vedas whatsoever, or maybe it's not even spiritual. Maybe they might say that I can make you very successful. I can help you to make a lot of money, and therefore help you lead a successful life. But all these people, because they have no real knowledge of, like Srila Prabhupada saying, the distinction between matter and spirit, really their instruction is actually completely useless. Not just like, oh, it's a little bit good and we can use some of it, or this and that, maybe. But ultimately, the knowledge that they're giving is really completely useless. And so one is enjoined to find somebody who knows what they're doing. And Mahabharata says, Guror apyapaliptasya karya karyam ajanataha utpatta pratipannasya pratyago vidiyate. Guror apyapaliptasya karya karyam ajanataha. If you have a so-called guru whose character is not so, you could say, spotless, and karya majanata, if he doesn't know what's to be done and what's not to be done, and then utpatta pratipannasya, and then he's actually doing, all the things that one's enjoined not to do, then parityago vidhyate, then actually the vidhi, or what you're supposed to do, is parityaga, completely give him up. Not just tyaga, not just, okay, you give him up, and but get the hell out of there as quick as possible. Because by association with such people, one's intelligence becomes bewildered. Mayavadi bhasha shunile hoy sorbanash, shorbanash, as they say in Bengal. Mayavadi bhasha shunile. If one hears Mayavadi bhashya, the commentary on Vedanta Sutra, which is written by the Mayavadis, and shorbanash. Shorbanash means everything's finished, complete. He knows this word because it's a common word in Bengali. Shorbanash means everything's finished. It's complete disaster. So by association with such people, everything's finished. Therefore, one has to find a spiritual master who is a bona fide Vaishnava, like Prahlad Maharaj is saying. He says, become bona fide Vaishnavas, which is another point. That, okay, we found a bona fide Vaishnava guru. Okay, then what are you going to do about it? You yourself have to become a bona fide Vaishnava. Srila Prabhupada and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, more so Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he was referred to as the lion guru, Simha guru. Because he was so, one thing is he was very strong. The way he would preach, he was a very strong preacher. But a lion also means that he was completely above reproach. Nobody could touch him. The lion is the king of the jungle. Tiger also, I think they say the same thing. But lion is the king of the jungle. Well, yeah, I think that term is more often used for lions. Anyway, yeah, lion's the king of the jungle. Nobody can touch the lion. The jackals or the hyenas or whatever, they might try to steal the food or this and that. But a lion can take on so many jackals, so many hyenas, So, so lions don't give birth to rabbits. If a lion has a child, that lion does not give birth to a rabbit. Lions give birth to lions. So Srila Prabhupada saying in this purport, the Lord has created the wonderful universes by His expert knowledge. The Supreme Personality of God is Vaisharadidhi. He's very completely expert. And therefore, and Srila Prabhupada says, unless one is extremely expert, he cannot understand the expert management of the supreme expert. So having surrendered to a bona fide spiritual master, bona fide spiritual masters, what do? What's the function of a bona fide spiritual master? The bona fide spiritual master's function is to himself create bona fide spiritual masters. Srila Prabhupada's movement, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement, is a pushing movement. It's an expanding movement. That the spiritual masters within Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement are meant to themselves create other spiritual masters. And those spiritual masters are supposed to deliver the entire world. They're supposed to deliver their desh, their place. So one should become very expert. Our bhakti should be, the bhakti is compared to, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, is compared to a creeper, the bhakti lata beach. So our bhakti lata should be living. So what do living things do? Living things grow. Dead things stagnate. Living things grow. They grow and they produce byproducts. So our bhakti shouldn't be dead. Our bhakti, our spiritual life should be living. We should be becoming more conscious. We should be becoming more joyful. We should be becoming more surrendered, more willing to take responsibility. Especially willing to take responsibility, take on burdens for Krishna. Because devotional service is not it's not always like a cakewalk, as they say. It's difficult. It can be Kṛṣṇa dhara nishita duratya durgam padastat kavayo vadanti. Spiritual life is like a razor's edge. Durgam padastat kavayo vadanti. The kavis, the expert, like the rishis and the sages, they say that it's durgam pata. It's a very difficult path. So devotional service will test us. Krishna will test us through the process of devotional service. But Srila Prabhupada says that we have to pass the test of the spiritual master. We have to pass the test of Krishna. And how do we do that? We do that by becoming expert. And how do we become expert? We become expert by associating with Mahajans like Prahlad Maharaj. We become expert by looking around at the devotees around us and seeing all the qualities which we see are helping them in their Krishna consciousness. We see this devotee is very surrendered. Is always willing to go out of his way, always willing to help devotees, always willing to serve devotees. Or this devotee is very, very friendly. Very good at making friends with everybody, making friends with the non-devotees and bringing them into Krishna consciousness. So we should look around at the devotees around us and try to appreciate their good qualities, and not just appreciate and say, oh yes, that's a very good quality, but then ourselves be rascals. But we should look around at the devotees around us and try to imbibe their qualities. And so we should try to increase our good qualities, decrease our bad qualities. And when we do that, when we associate with expert Vaishnavas, we ourselves become expert. And our bhakti creeper, which is living, then produces the byproducts of Krishna prema. Produces the flower of Krishna prema. Takes shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan. So, all of this comes by, like Srila Prabhupada says, one can understand, however, if one's fortunate enough to meet a bona fide spiritual master coming in the disciplic succession from Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Mother Lakshmi, or the Kumaras. And Prahlad Maharaj says, if you can place your faith in my words, simply by that faith, you can understand transcendental knowledge. And you could say, okay, well, I have faith. But the reason that faith leads to transcendental knowledge is because if you have faith in somebody's words, then necessarily well, maybe not necessarily, but if one's intelligent, then if you have faith in somebody's words, you should follow them. Not that, okay, I accept what you're saying, but then I'll just do whatever I want. But I have faith in the words of the spiritual master, and that faith and my activities are predicated on that faith. That I have faith in the words of the spiritual master, and therefore I engage in all the activities of Krishna consciousness. Consciously hearing, chanting, remembering, etc. And I do these things, seeing them. Like I was talking about the morning program. We should see the morning program, and we should see all the activities of devotional service, but especially the morning program. We should see it's something we do every day, but it's such an amazing opportunity. Every single day we have the opportunity, like 4 hours blocked out, that you just use this time to make spiritual advancement. You don't have to do jack squat else, but just be there and make spiritual advancement. Hearing, chanting, dancing in kirtan, like all of these things, like the morning program is literally 4 hours where all you have to do is make spiritual advancement. So why shouldn't we be enthusiastic? Why shouldn't we be ready and excited every day to be there? Why shouldn't we be... Of course, it's not so easy. It's not so easy that, okay, well, Bhagavatam said, so therefore I'm ready to do it. It takes time, and time, but also it takes the mercy of the spiritual master. That's the real thing. That one understands transcendental knowledge by the mercy of the spiritual master, and one understands that transcendental knowledge, then he obtains utsaha, nishtayadharyad. One becomes very enthusiastic to engage in devotional service. When you understand what the thing really is, then you understand that this is the only game in town. Devotional service is the only game in town. The only game worth playing. So it's difficult to understand, and of course I myself am also, speaking like a parrot. Of course I don't understand all these things. But by speaking about them and by hearing about them, all of us can be purified. And hopefully maybe one day by the mercy of the spiritual master attain to that kind of realization. So, it's 8:29. I'll stop there. I think I've covered everything in the purport. Well, actually one thing I'll say. Well, no, I'll leave it at that. That's fine.
Can you tell us what Shivaratri is all about?
I'll tell you what Shivaratri is all about.
Thank you.
Shivaratri. You know, Shivaratri is not really a Vaishnava holiday. I think it became popular in our temples because of the Hindu kind of population in our temples. It's not really a Vaishnava holiday. It's pretty much the main Shaiva holiday. Now, exactly what the story of Shivaratri is, frankly speaking, I don't really know. I've heard it before. I have heard it before. I heard it last year, actually. But to be honest with you, I actually don't really know. I should know, but I don't. But anyway, Shiva's a great Vaishnava. He's Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu. He's the greatest of Vaishnavas. So we offer him all respect. We offer him all, obeisances. But, and if we like, we can, meditate upon him today and pray to him that he can bestow upon us the same kind of devotional service that he has. But, not really our holiday, so.
Well, it's interesting it's called on Saturday, so tonight, isn't it the night they have the Indian program come? They may.
Oh, they'll have a field day with me.
I was here a long time ago. I used to do the evening artik a few nights a week, and it fell on Shivaratri. This was probably the mid-90s. And I opened the curtains, and you got a Shiva linga up right here, and there's they made offerings to the Shiva linga, like this. And one of our main, I won't mention his name, was there, and he was dressed up as Durvasa Muni. That's what I thought of. He just like he was Durvasa Muni, So I couldn't do anything. I'm on the altar, So I arranged so that the next year I would conduct the Shivaratri. And we read from fourth canto the Song of Shiva,
That's
and the
nice.
Kirtan. We did the Chaturmukhi. Yeah. So
Yeah, actually, perhaps I should have. I actually didn't have. Yeah, I actually didn't realize I was giving this class until this morning. So but I should have, and actually would have prepared a class on Shiva if I had. If I had remembered, but anyway, yeah, Shiva's a great devotee. There's two tattvas which are very difficult to understand: Guru tattva and Shiva tattva. So yeah, Shiva tattva is like a whole. I was going to say a whole class, but it's like a whole seminar, actually. Maybe even a couple books about who exactly Shiva is. To us, Shiva is the main way we are involved with Shiva is through Advaita Acharya. Advaita Acharya is Shiva in this. Shiva is Shiva's main function, or well, I shouldn't say main function, but one of his distinguishing aspects is that he's kind of in charge of all the ghouls and goblins, the bhutas and the pishachas and the, kind of spooky living entities. And he's in charge of the mode of ignorance. So he comes as Advaita Acharya, and he comes to deliver the living entities in this world who are just like bhutas and pishachas, basically us, all the fallen lechas and yavanas whose activities are no better than bhutas and pishachas. Advaita Acharya comes to deliver them. He gives them a place at the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we can also meditate on Advaita Acharya today. You had something?
Yeah, just I guess a comment to follow up on Mahashivaratri in terms of the background of it. I do believe that this particular night of Mahashivaratri is when Lord Shiva's third eye had actually opened. And then I was also curious in terms of this pastime of Lord Nrsimha, and also in honor of Mahashivaratri, of what role Lord Shiva had played within this pastime. Because I know in Ramayana, he had kind of given Ravana, his boons, to be empowered that he does, and also incarnated as Hanuman, which was the great devotee of Lord Ram. So I was also curious if Lord Shiva has any correlation with Prahlad Maharaj, or...
It is a similar kind of situation as with Ravana. The only difference is this time Brahma gave the benediction to Hiranyakashipu rather than Shiva. So I don't remember Shiva really being involved in this pastime. Shiva comes up a couple times in the Bhagavatam, but he doesn't have a super... he's not super prominent in the Bhagavatam. Of course, in the fourth canto, like Dravida Prabhu mentioned, he comes up and he instructs the sons of Maharaj Prachini Barhi. But otherwise, yeah, he's probably there. Yeah, he appears at the end when Nrsimhadev, just right after he kills Hiranyakashipu, he's kind of sitting there with Hiranyakashipu on his lap, split in two, and he's still pretty angry. He's kind of sitting there, he's just kind of huffing, just kind of really angry. And so all the devas and even Lakshmi actually comes there, and they're just kind of at some distance. And everybody's kind of whispering amongst themselves, so who's going to talk to him? Who's going to, Yeah, so I guess Shiva's involved there, and then Lakshmi is there, and then Brahma tells him, hey, Brahma tells Prahlad, he says, hey, you can go talk to him. He came here for you. You better go talk to him. And then Nrsimhadev was pacified. So.
Add one thing.
Yes.
Let me just in honor of the Shivaratri. This is text 4th canto, 24th chapter, text 52. It's right near the end of the Song of Shiva. And this is I remember because I was proofreading this, when it came out, and I was taken, and so I memorized some of it, and then this one I definitely memorized. Very sweet. Padasharat padma palacha rochisha nakadipir non takagam vidunvata padarshaya swima pasta sadvasam padangado margagurustamodrusham. My dear Lord, your two lotus feet are so beautiful that they appear like two blossoming petals of the lotus flower that grows during the autumn season. Indeed, the nails of your lotus feet emanate such a great effulgence that they immediately dissipate all the darkness in the heart of a conditioned soul. My dear Lord, kindly show me that form of yours that always dissipates all kinds of darkness in the heart of a devotee. My dear Lord, you are the supreme spiritual master of everyone. Therefore, all conditioned souls covered with the darkness of ignorance can be enlightened by you as the spiritual master.
Jai.
That's our wish.
Hare Krishna, very nice class, including glorifying Lord Shiva. I have a question or comment. Some people, they say general, he's Vaishnavanam Yatham Shambhu, but say we are devotee, normal devotee, and he's Vaishnava, but then other people, normal people are Vaishnava, but he's so much ahead of normal people. So people just think about that and that, oh, he's Vaishnava, but he's not just like us, Vaishnava. I mean, he's a lot more higher. He has a higher position in Vrindavan and every dham, and so thank you for talking about it. And also one question is in Navadvip, there is half Shiva and half Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I believe there is
half Vishnu, half Shiva. It's Hari Hara. So on one side you have Shiva and Parvati, and on the other side you have Vishnu and Lakshmi. The exact that if you read in Navadvip Dham Mahatmya, that I think the story of that deity's appearance is there. Nityananda Prabhu, he relates that story. So, but yeah, actually, I'm forgetting it now exactly. All I remember is that Nityananda Prabhu mentions it in Navadvip Dham Mahatmya, and he says that there's this wonderful form that was found in the forest. In that area of Navadvip is called, I think it's called Amogha, something along those lines. Which basically it's near the area in Godrumadvip where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu planted that tree, that mango tree. That's why it's called Am. Am means mango. That tree with the mango tree that had in which the mangoes had no skin and no pulp or anything like that. They were very juicy. Oh, sorry, no skin and no seed. I meant to say, yeah. So it's near there, and all I remember is that Nityananda Prabhu said that there's this very wonderful deity there that was found by some sages in the forest there, because there's many trees there. But I'm not sure exactly if there's any more information. I'm sure there probably is, but that's what I remember. But yeah,
Thank you so much.
It's a very beautiful, it's a small temple, and it's kind of like, yeah, kind of in the. Not really in the middle of nowhere, so to speak, but it's just a small temple with a nice little, almost like a park, kind of like a little field in front of it. And there's it's a nice place.
Yes, nice place. Thank you. I've been there. So thank you so much.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, Grantharaja Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.